Jack Nicklaus and the PGA Tour today announced plans this morning to construct a massive transparent dome over Muirfield Village Golf Club, home of the annual Memorial Tournament, and approximately 2,000 temporary beer stations operated by college students named Connor. Construction crews will complete the project in time for the tournament next year, 2027. Assuming engineers can resolve several minor technical questions, including how to prevent the entire structure from floating toward West Virginia during a strong crosswind. The dome will stand 1,400 feet high at its peak and cover the full course, the driving range, clubhouse, 6 Dublin subdivisions, 2 traffic circles, a Wendy's, and a section of Interstate 270 where motorists have spent decades trying to merge while operating vehicles purchased before blind spot monitoring became a basic human right. Nicklaus unveiled the plan at a press conference beside the 18th green this morning while workers pumped water from a bunker using equipment normally reserved for coastal evacuations. Nicklaus said, "We tried June, we tried late May, we tried early June again. At one point, I asked about holding the tournament during a dry week in August, and somebody from the tour reminded me, Ohio does not have dry weeks ever. Ohio has brief pauses between weather incidents." He gestured toward a large architectural rendering showing Muirfield Village beneath a gleaming glass bubble glowing softly above the town of Dublin like a snow globe built by a billionaire who had become furious with clouds. "I designed this course to challenge the finest golfers in the world," Nicklaus said. "I did not design it to host competitive kayaking." Now, the memorial has moved around the calendar several times over the years, largely in an effort to find a weekend when central Ohio weather behaves like an adult. Early June appeared promising. Historical records suggested sunshine, pleasant temperatures, and enough humidity to remind visitors why human beings invented deodorant. For much of this year's tournament, today, Sunday's the last day, the strategy worked. On Thursday and Friday, fans wandered the course in shorts, visors, and golf shirts purchased for hundreds of dollars from merchandise tents after experiencing temporary financial hypnosis. Sponsors entertained clients beneath white canopies. Beer vendors executed a distribution operation rivaling the Normandy invasion, except with more quarter zips and fewer maps. Yesterday arrived warm and sunny, but by lunchtime the course had become a cheerful outdoor festival featuring golf as a loosely supervised side activity. A man near the 12th tee held a plastic cup in one hand and explained Scotty Scheffler's swing mechanics to 3 strangers who had not asked. He keeps the club face stable through impact," the man said, while his friends stared up at the sky and said, "Is the sky supposed to turn green?" The first thunder squall arrived right then, from points west, with the subtlety of a bowling alley crashing through a church roof. Clouds piled above the trees. Wind whipped sponsor banners into frantic ribbons. Thunder detonated over the course. Fans scattered toward shuttle buses, hospitality tents, parking lots, and any structure possessing a ceiling or a corporate logo. A volunteer near the 16th hole waved spectators toward safety. "Please move quickly toward the exit," she shouted. A man wearing golf cleats and carrying 4 beers stopped right beside her. "Do I have time to finish these?" No. What if I drink faster?" No. What if I drink while moving quickly toward the exit?" The volunteer paused. "Sir, I do not have the legal authority to prevent your personal journey." Play resumed after the first storm passed. Workers squeegeed greens, ground crews attacked puddles, bunker rakes became drainage equipment. A small fleet of utility vehicles raced across the course carrying hoses, pumps, towels, sand, and several men with expressions normally seen on submarine commanders after somebody reports a leak. Now, for approximately 12 minutes, Muirfield Village resembled a golf course again. Then a second thunder squall rolled in. This storm arrived with lightning, heavy rain, wind gusts, and a personal grudge against concession signage. One hospitality tent lifted several inches from the ground before 6 men in expensive loafers grabbed its support poles and became unwilling participants in a low altitude aviation experiment. A corporate guest shouted, "Hold on!" Somebody yelled, "To what?" He said, "I don't care. Grab something expensive." By Sunday morning this morning, tournament officials faced a grim arithmetic problem. Missed holes, soft fairways, flooded bunkers, television windows, sponsor commitments, and the urgent need to place Scotty Scheffler somewhere near the center of televised golf programming. Play resumed at the crack of dawn. Scheffler began the day 9 holes behind leader JT Poston, a golfer whose name sounds less like a PGA Tour pro and more like a federal branch office where residents mail Christmas packages, after waiting behind a man shipping 6 antique lamps to Boise and is currently tied for 13th with 437 other players, or he was earlier today. That's probably changed. Still, the course had started drying beneath the summer sun, and golf has always welcomed improbable comebacks, unusual bounces, and television producers constructing suspense from a leaderboard with the structural integrity of a cafeteria napkin. Meanwhile, tour officials had reached a breaking point. According to sources close to the matter, the dome proposal began yesterday afternoon inside a windowless operations trailer after a tournament official watched a plastic recycling bin sail past the 14th tee at approximately 40 miles an hour. Enough. Another official glanced up from a radar screen covered in alarming colors. Enough rain? Enough sky. The PGA Tour had assembled architects, engineers, meteorologists, agronomists, television executives, for some reason, insurance representatives, of course, and one Dublin zoning official who had asked whether the dome's shadow would violate neighborhood setback requirements. The preliminary design features retractable ceiling panels, artificial sunlight controls, climate-managed fairways, and a sophisticated cloud removal system developed after Nicklaus reportedly slammed his fist onto a conference table and said, "I want weather removed from golf, or at least my golf." Local residents have raised questions. Will we still get regular weather outside the dome? Asked Dublin homeowner Greg Murdochson, who owns a 9-passenger SUV large enough to transport a youth hockey team, 2 Labradors, and a regional sales conference. "Yes," an engineer said. What kind?" "Ohio weather," he was told. Murdochson stared at him. "So I'm paying property taxes to live outside the protective bubble?" You may purchase a residential dome extension," he was told. "Well, how much is that?" "Prices begin at $480,000. "Well, does it cover my driveway?" "The basic package covers 1 patio chair." But several residents have already signed up. Businesses also see opportunity. The nearby Wendy's plans to offer a dome combo featuring a Baconator, fries, and a small Frosty served beneath a plastic lid shaped like Muirfield Village. A Dublin fitness center announced a new class called Dome Conditioning, where participants run on treadmills while instructors spray them with hoses and shout weather delay alerts through a bullhorn. A local wealth management office will rent parking spaces for $380 per vehicle, plus an additional $40 climate stability fee. "People want a peace of mind," said office manager Brad Hollings. They also want parking within 9 miles of the course. We provide one of those things. Construction begins in early August of this summer. Crews will install enormous support columns around the property, each disguised as a tastefully landscaped stone monument bearing the name of a presenting sponsor. The primary roof segments will arrive by truck from an undisclosed manufacturing site, causing temporary traffic delays throughout central Ohio till Thanksgiving, maybe Christmas. Nicklaus remains confident. Golf requires patience, he said. It requires discipline, problem solving. Sometimes it requires placing hundreds of acres beneath a climate-controlled lid because the atmosphere refuses to cooperate. He studied the course, where workers continue draining bunkers and repairing turf. A dark cloud drifted above the clubhouse. Nicklaus followed it with his eyes. "Enjoy your freedom while it lasts," he said.